Hello again. I don't know if I should play some music or something, but I just wanted to go through these last few cards. I'm gonna try this out without sound. I didn't like how the last video came across, especially if it's supposed to be instructional and for the benefit of my son. Um, but I'm doing this as a means because I deal with very young kids and trying to show them that science is something that almost anybody can do. They put their mind to it. But anyway, enough about me. Let's start with the first question. The first card. These again, the CERN cards, and the first card would be the Ace of Clubs. Okay. Now I'm gonna put these notes up here, but this shows you some of the questions addressed by the LHC. And you got some very notable cards about the Higgs. I mean, very notable points on here about the Higgs boson. In most cases, about high temperatures and densities, and antimatter in the universe. So that's the ace. The next card is the Big Bang. Now, again, I'm going to need help from the scientific community because even CERN is calling this the Big Bang. And you can see that right there, the birth of the universe. But I have gone to Lawrence Livermore and noticed that they would talk about, sorry, my phone was ringing. Noticed they would talk about cosmic expansion in terms of the Big Bang. So they say that's a misnomer. You know, I don't pretty much play with politics or societal games. I just come here to deliver the facts and get more counsel on what's right or wrong. Grand unification theory. It's a very important concept. As you can see, there's a book that I recently acquired from a colleague of mine, Tasha Williams, and it came from Fermi. Um, Basically, they talked about the four first forces: electricity, electromagnetism. You got gravity, of course, and then you got the nuclear forces, which are weak and strong. So that's something that the kids that I work with, they actually understand very well, the forces. The next thing is electroweak era. Well, this is the club card number 4. Okay, and there's a lot about this that goes into the four forces I was just discussing, particularly the weak forces and how distinct they are. So anti-quarks, they annihilate. I mean, anti-quarks and quarks annihilate, leaving the excess of matter and Z bosons decay. Now, I worked with strangeness and tried to determine what was going on with a case short. This is not exactly what my research emphasis was, but it's still a good card to know. That's your weak area because you get into different states of knowledge at the physics 2 level when it comes down to terms like that. Protons and neutrons form. Okay? And this goes into nuclear research as well as chemistry. My emphasis was electrical engineering a while back, and it still is, especially like renewable energy systems and whatnot. Formation of nuclei. This is club number 6. And again, I mean, I'm showing these briefly so you can see them because I'm crunched for time, but I'm going to definitely type them up and add them to that note. It's going to be a running note. With the rest of the cards, we got to go through, the spades. We got to go through the diamonds. And the diamonds will probably be after um, these this suit of cards has been addressed. So next card is 7. Right? Era of light and atoms. Right? Very interesting. It says here that time equals 30,000. Was it 300,000 years? The temperature was at about 6,000 kelvins. So interesting. Galaxies form. This goes back into the Big Bang or cosmic expansion or whatever we're trying to determine out there to figure out, what we're doing. If you look up SpaceX, for instance, Mr. Musk is really doing some things in terms of getting us to those new destinations. I think I was talking to Mr. Carmona a while back, who's one of my Livermore buddies. He discussed how SpaceX was revolutionary in terms of getting us on those new frontiers to find, more resources, more places to habitat. I don't know, but only science can tell that in time. Hopefully, in this age. This card is interesting to me because it discusses today. Man begins to wonder where it all came from. Starting to wonder if we're in the golden age again, where we're actually searching for knowledge. Now, I love to study my history, my culture, and science is a way of making sure I'm doing it in the most definite form. I'm fact checking, as they said on the Cosmos show. The World Society had a creed, and that creed, I was appreciative of Dr. Tyson for saying that. The creed was see for yourself. So that goes above and beyond anything that you want to call your faith, religion, or keep going down the list. You have to actually know what you're talking about. I'm not talking about standardization and tests because they're failing students on that end. I'm talking about in terms of doing and actually providing something that's going to, push our civilization or our society, if you want to go from that angle, to another level of understanding, where we can actually create something that'll help our prosperity. So, again, this is 9. Man begins to wonder where it all came from. I think this is called the Vitruvian Man. Leonardo da Vinci, I had a book on him in his notebooks, discusses why he drew this and everything. Most people would try to talk about the negative of certain artisans and inventors of the past. But usually when people do that, that's because they don't understand the beauty of certain things. This, when I was in Switzerland, actually represents a coin, and that coin is called a euro. So it was interesting. I already knew about Leonardo da Vinci and his many inventions and his progress in war and science. Very, very intelligent mind at the time. But yeah, it just this came from CERN. It was kind of cool. What was that? That was at 9, 10. Another important card. Guess what? This card is so interesting that it actually defines quarks and leptons. And you understand that, you just got to look at the standard model in nuclear research. Well, even not going that high as nuclear research, you can come down to physics 3. And that will begin to discuss, as I was introduced to, the nature of CERN, Brookhaven's National Lab, or Lawrence Livermore. These all have nuclear accelerated technologies. They do chemistry and other disciplines of science, but everybody has a favorite preference, and mine is nuclear research and education. So there we go, 10. The Jack. Remember I talked about those 4 forces? Well, here they are again. These are the cards I want to use with students in explaining all that we can in science. Now, I know some people are like, oh, their science doesn't know everything. However, science is one of the reasons why you have a cell phone. Science is one of the reasons why you have power. Science is one of the reasons. You're just going to say, put it up to God in everything, every last single case. I mean, there's a certain balance between spirituality and actually producing something. I hope that message gets across. So again, this is Jack of clubs, and I don't know if you see it. Those are those 4 forces I was talking about. Gravitational, graviton. Photon, that's electromagnetic. That's usually how we send frequencies and listen to radio waves when there's good information or bad. And we have the strong forces, the gluons, and weak, and the WZ bosons that we talked about earlier, that other card. So Jack of clubs. Almost getting there. All right. Q. Well, Queen. Interesting part about CERN was I read about it in Angels and Demons was a Dan Brown book. Also read about it in the Da Vinci Code to a certain degree, where you had antimatter and matter and figuring out when they will separate or become something. And then there was always something called gut. Science nerds would ask, do you got guts to go further in knowledge or whatever? But gut actually refers to the grand unified theory. Some told me that Einstein was trying to figure this out, and some told me other things. Here it is. Unification of forces. Zoom in some more so you can see. It's taking all those forces and finding a common thread. That unified frequency. There is actually a frequency that all human beings resonate at. Your mind when it thinks, your body when it's held together. Even when you're sitting still, there are vibrations going on. And I think energy is one of the most important concepts we have to understand in understanding science. Standard model, the king, and rightfully placed. This is what we use to understand neutron stars, matter, a whole slew of things, even isotopes to a certain degree. Because this is what we started to investigate when we found out that an atom is just not an atom. They're constituent parts, very, very minor, minute parts that go concentrically down into the intricacies of the atom. That's all I have for now. Like, dislike, critique. This is all because when I went over there, I learned that the United States is falling behind in education. Now that I'm back having the experience I've had, I use everything I can to get people to understand that science is great. With a degree, without a degree, you have to kind of go into these schools with the mindset that you're a customer, you have to learn. If you don't go in with that mindset, it's going to be for a long jumping from discipline to discipline to discipline. Mine's with science. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank you. I love the last 3 shows. I want to tell you that, bro. You're doing a great job. The Hayden Planetarium, Carl Sagan, a bunch of other science advocates, philosophers, practitioners, those who are getting the message out there. I've been teaching science to my son. He's 9 now. And I really think it's sticking with him, no matter what I'm going through in our current society, politically or not. Have a great day. Today's bien to all who listen, and au revoir.